Hey guys, this is lesson number 12, and this is all about acids and bases. Now, you've probably heard of the word acids before, and base sounds familiar, but it might not be the same as what the definition of a base is. So, before we actually do this lab, there is a 2-minute video that we're going to watch together, and you can get it by clicking here. It's just a video on YouTube. And pay attention at about 38 seconds, the timestamp of 38 seconds, because these are some clues that might help you with the lab today. So a lot of times, acids that we're familiar with, they'll burn your skin. Not to say that bases won't, but a lot of acids will. They will taste sour, like lemons, limes, a lot of citrus fruits. They will corrode metals. And perhaps you did this in elementary school, where you take litmus paper. It looks like a piece of tape, and you stick it in the substance and it will turn a color depending on whether it's an acid or a base. So it'll take the blue litmus paper when you dip it in and it will turn it red. If you take red litmus paper and it doesn't change color, it'll still give you the same result. You'll know it's an acid. Bases, on the other hand, they're usually, they have a bitter taste and they feel slippery or soapy. So soap is a base. And, back in the day, maybe your parents may have told you stories about, if they said a naughty word, your grandmother or grandfather, or maybe your great grandparents may have stuck soap in their mouth as like a lesson. And that's because it has a disgusting, bitter taste. And the bases will turn the red litmus paper blue. And again, if you use the blue and it doesn't turn, you can still get the same thing. Okay, so just again, 2-minute video, 2 minute, 24 seconds, not too bad. Check that out. Some of it is a little high schoolish, but the details about the properties of acids and bases will definitely help with this activity. Okay, so back to our lab. So on slide 2, you will see a picture from 0 to 14 of the pH scale. And pH is basically just a concentration of how many hydrogen ions there are. We'll get into ions more next unit with the periodic table. But just picture little hydrogen atoms floating around, and they have a charge. And there was a scientist that came up with this scale, and it's a measure of how concentrated the ions are. Now, the biggest thing with the pH scale is you would think 0 would be the least acidic, but if you kind of look over here in the middle, 7 is actually neutral, and 7 is pure water. Believe it or not water from our tap or water from the streams. Sometimes it's not a pH of 7. It's not pure. It has other minerals in there, or acid from the acid rain. It's polluted, so sometimes it's not 100% pure. So pure water is a 7. And then as you go away in both directions, left and right, you'll get more what's called acidic. So 0 is actually the strongest acid. And then the opposite direction over here towards 14, alkaline, or it's a base. They mean the same thing. So 14 is the strongest base. So now here's what you're going to do. You are going to, it says follow the directions on slide. I meant to put this, should be all slide 3. I got to change that. So we're going to go to slide 3, and you are going to fill in the prediction column here for all of the substances. So for drain cleaner, you're going to say, do you think it's an acid or a base? And you just type acid. And then in the second column, where do you think it would fall on the pH scale? Now, if you said acid, you're going to want to pick a number between 0, very, very strong acid, to 6, which is kind of closer to water, which is really not harmful to us at all. Think about it that way. And then you're going to do that for every single substance on here. Okay, and then when you are ready and you have all your predictions made, you're going to click this link, and it's a virtual lab. So you're going to click, it'll bring you to this website. You click on macro, and you will notice a tank over here on the right. You're going to notice the pH scale right here on the left, 0 acidic all the way to 14, very basic. And I got to move my face out of the way. And then here are your substances right here. Now I did the first one for you, and literally all you have to do is click on this little meter, drag it to your solution over here, and it will give you the pH of whatever's in the in your beaker here. Go back to your lab, go to slide 3, and then you fill in with the actual pHs. Now, this was kind of a trick question because it's not acidic or basic, it's neutral. So I did that one for you. So now the next one for drain cleaner, all you have to do is click on the down arrow here, click on drain cleaner, and you'll notice my meter is in the drain cleaner, and it will give you the pH reading right here on the left. So, believe it or not, drain cleaner is basic, and it's a very strong base. That's why if your parents have to use like Drano to unclog your sinks, it does say on the bottle like highly corrosive, poisonous. There's a lot of warnings on there. But yeah, very, very corrosive basic solution. So that's going to be what you're kind of doing in this lab, and do that for every single substance on here, and you'll get to learn a little bit more about some common things that some of them you might already know, like orange juice. I think you can guess that one, but it'll help you understand the level of the pH on the pH scale. Okay, so enjoy the lab and have fun checking out some household solutions.